What's up guys, welcome back to Soft and Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone Season 5 Reloaded and the best settings you can use right now at this very moment for the Reloaded version. And yes, I took a little bit of time before I actually uploaded a video, as I'm uploading it today only. Bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that there's a lot of things on your computer like VRAM usage, packet burst, and things like that that causes your game to run really bad if you just go into your game and change settings inside there. I highly recommend changing settings on your computer first before we even get into the game settings. Now, I'm going to try and make this video short, sweet, and simple. I'm not going to make it long. I'm going to try and basically put all my information and all my knowledge into this video itself to make it short, sweet, and simple for you to follow. And all you're going to need to do is follow my guidelines from the beginning to the end of this video, and you should be good to go. All right, let's jump straight into this video. All right, so the first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is be on your desktop, ladies and gentlemen, and smash the like button. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new here. Smash that like button if this worked for you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to need to do is follow my guidelines from the beginning to the end of my video. That's what you're going to need to do. Follow from the beginning to the end. So be on your desktop as is. As you can see me being on my desktop here, this is how I play my game. I play my game through Battle.net like this. Now, there's a lot of people that play through Steam or the Xbox Game Pass or whatever the case might be. It doesn't really matter where you're playing your game through, and it doesn't really matter what computer you have. If it's a low end, medium end to high end, it does not matter. These are the things that matter, is this right here. The first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is be on your desktop like this, and then go ahead and if you have something like a wallpaper engine like me, go ahead and completely quit out of it so you can just have a still desktop image. Anything that's moving in the background while you are playing your game can actually hog your VRAM and actually cause stutter in your game. You don't want that to happen. It's just going to make your game run really bad. Right, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is go to start button over here and then go to settings, and you're going to come inside here. You're going to go to gaming, come to gaming over here, and then go to game mode. Make sure game mode is turned on right now at this very moment, and then go to graphic settings. From here, you're going to be inside here and make sure your hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is turned on, especially for people out there that's rocking 4000 series from Nvidia and just in general the equivalent on AMD side of newer generation graphics cards. Please go ahead and enable this. It's very important for you to go and enable this. Then you can just click on the home little button over here and then go to this over here where it says privacy, scroll all the way down and then come over here where it says background apps. Now you can go ahead and turn this from on to off and you should be good to go. Turn all background apps off. Anything running in the background will just cause your game to in general either be way worse or stutter or basically lag issues or basically stutter issues, and just in general your computer is going to hog your game's performance, and you don't want that. You want all the juice out of your computer to run into your game and run perfectly fine. All right, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this right here. You just come to the search button over here and click on it and then just type in run like this and press enter, and then this is what you're going to need to do. You're going to type in prefetch just like that, prefetch, and then click OK, and this actually moved to my other screen. I'm just going to move it back here. You're going to click on anything inside here, Control and A to highlight everything, press delete on your keyboard or right click and say delete, and then say skip, and it's going to delete all these things inside here. The next thing you're going to need to do is basically do the same thing. There's an easier way to do it. Just press the Windows key and R and it will bring up the same run tab. Then you're going to type in temp TMP just like this and press enter, and you're going to click inside here on anything, press Control and A, highlight everything, right click and then say delete, and then say continue. Delete everything inside here, say do this on all current items, and then say try again. Then say do this on all current items and say skip, because Windows can't delete these files, because you basically can't delete something that's already being used through Windows. It's like trying to delete Windows while it's running. All right, or you can go out of that. All right, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is just click on the start button over here, go to settings, and you're going to come inside here. Once you're in the settings menu like this, I highly recommend you go ahead and do this right here. Update and security. It's very important. Yes, I know, ladies and gentlemen, you might be sitting here thinking, oh my God, he's doing a Windows update. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very important for your Windows to be up to date to the latest updates for your games to run perfectly smooth and fine. Okay, if Call of Duty is doing updates, obviously your Windows needs to be up to date as well. Now, especially with your graphics card drivers as well, please go ahead and update them as well. So now I'm just not going to bore you with this by checking for updates. I'll just literally put this on my other screen and then go to Nvidia. All right, this is me using an Nvidia card. I'm going to go to my graphics and I'm going to go to global, and then I highly recommend with the new system that's out right now, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are changing things inside here. Please don't don't, it's going to make your game run like absolute dog shit, and you don't want that. Please, please, for the love of fuck, don't. Okay? Rather just come to drivers. There's a new driver out right now at this very moment. So as you can see here it is. It is 581.29. It's the latest driver, but I want to make an example to you guys. The driver that I'm currently running is already installed, so it's the driver before this, okay? If you go to graphics and you come inside here and you start changing things inside here that you shouldn't be changing, you're going to mess up your game, and your game's going to run like absolute dog shit. It's going to start stuttering, and you don't want that. Now, you can go game specific, or you can go global settings and do your global. That's for all settings then. But just in general, ladies and gentlemen, be on the latest graphics card driver. Right now, I'm not even on the latest graphics card driver because I've tested it with my machine with this one over here, the 581.29. If this one runs perfectly fine for you on your computer, install it and have it running on your computer perfectly fine. If it runs fine, leave it like that. If it doesn't, you can roll back your drivers. I know a lot of people roll back their drivers to have a smoother gameplay experience in Call of Duty. That's what I'm currently doing. I'm running the driver before this. All right, so that's what I'm currently doing. But it's up to you. It's up to your machine. It's how your machine performs with the drivers themselves. A lot of drivers have small little bugs, and it's depending on the machine that you're running and the components that you're running, why this is happening. Okay? But just in general, be on the latest graphics card drivers. Please go ahead and do so. All right. We can just go out of this. All right. Let's jump straight into the next setting. Right, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is right-click on your desktop and go to NVIDIA control panel, and rather than do this, ladies and gentlemen, instead of going through that I just showed you where it's global settings and stuff like that, rather do it here. So go to adjust image settings with preview and have this selected. Use the advanced 3D image settings. It's going to say take me there. Then it's basically just going to take you to manage 3D settings, and it's going to be like this. Now, I highly recommend you go ahead and just copy all the settings I have here to make this video shorter. Just go ahead and copy everything I have here. If you do not want to use DSR factors to do like basically overdriving a, let's say a 1080p screen or 720p screen over to, let's say 4K or 1440p, uncheck these boxes and have nothing selected, then that should be fine. And you can run your screen at native resolution of whatever it is, 720p, 1080p, 1440p, all the way to 4K. Then a very, very important thing is this one right here. Okay. This plays a very big role in your machine. If you know you have a low-end machine, I go to high performance. If you know you have a medium-end machine, then go to performance. If you have a high-end machine, go to quality. I don't care if you have a NASA machine that can launch nukes, physical nukes, or you have the best computer on the planet. Do not put this at high quality. I repeat, do not put this at high quality. Your game's going to start feeling very, very bad. Just leave it at quality and you should be good to go if you have a decent enough computer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go out of this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to show you this. If you right-click on your taskbar anywhere here, your taskbar, and you go to Task Manager and you go to Performance, this will actually show you what you are running, right? So this is my memory. This is my CPU that I'm running, a 14700K. And then it's going to show you my GPU, which is an RTX 4070 Super. And that's what I'm currently running right now. And there's all my M.2s. And then here's my memory and the speed it's running at. This is the machine I'm running. If you don't know what machine you are running, this is how you do it. This is how you check out your machine. And then you'll know if you have a good enough computer, just Google it. If you don't know computers that much, just Google these things. You should be good to go. You have access to the internet. Go ahead and find out some information. But if you know you have a low-end machine, rather go with lower settings. If you know you have a medium-end machine, go with better settings. If you know you've got a high-end machine, you can go with extremely good settings, but still, I would recommend competitive settings for Call of Duty, especially with the latest season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm in the game right now. And as you can see here at the bottom, I'm now using on other apps 0.77 gigabytes. That's not even 1 gig of other apps running in the background. That's why it was important of everything I just showed you in the beginning of this video to go ahead and do. If you didn't do that, this is going to be a higher number and you are basically fucking yourself over. That's just me putting it in simple terms. You are fucking yourself over. Go back. If you skipped through my video all the way till here, go back and watch what I showed you to get this number down. Because I see a lot of people are skipping through my videos and just getting to the parts of settings. No, there's a whole thing you need to do when it comes to Call of Duty. Follow my video from the beginning to the end. And at the end of my video, and you restart your computer, and this game runs way better than what your game ran before you watch this video. smash that motherfucking like button. Leave a comment down below. Leave a super thanks. There's a super thanks button down below if you want to support my channel. There's a super thanks down below. Go ahead and hit it and leave a donation. It would really mean a lot to me. It takes a lot of time and dedication making these videos. All right, come to display and you're going to be inside here. Full screen exclusive is the best version you should be on right now if you have one screen. If you have multiple screens, go to full screen borderless. Then yet again, it's a big debate. I have lots of screens. I have 3 currently. Okay, there's people probably with way more screens, but whatever the case might be, you can still go with full screen exclusive on multiple screens. Okay, you still can, but it's up to you. I highly recommend between these two, you should be good to go. Don't go windowed. Don't go full screen extended window. So it's full screen exclusive for best performing game, and then full screen borderless. If you're getting a little bit of stutters, go back to full screen exclusive. You should be good to go. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step is aspect ratio. I highly recommend right now at this very moment, depending on the screen that you're running, a lot of people are running this still at 1080p, let's say 1440p, all the way up to 4K. Go to automatic so this game can automatically pick up the screen that you're running, the resolution that you're running, and the hertz it's running at. All right? We're going to skip over this and come back to this later because this is a very, very important step to do. All right, display gamma at 2.2. If you have a very digital, vibrant screen that you went all out to go and buy, like a gaming screen or a TV or something like that with a lot of digital vibrance, you can go ahead and put it at 2.4, right? My screen right now looks perfectly fine at 2.2. It's up to you. It's your own choice here. Literally your own choice. Go ahead and choose which one you would like to choose, but I would choose 2.2, right? Gamma and brightness, I would put this at like maybe 55 to 60, not too bright because the game's bright in general overall. Do not overdo this. You're going to make the game look washed out. All right. Nvidia Reflex Low Latency plays a very big role in your game. It plays actually like one of the most important roles on your game itself, depending on the machine that you're running. Now, my game kept this on ever since I built my machine, okay? It left it on and I've never changed it, okay? And you saw the machine that I'm running. I'm running a 14700K and a 4070 Super, and it left it on for me, okay? Now, this is how this works. If you are CPU bound, okay? If you're CPU bound, if you have a very good graphics card and your CPU isn't as good as your GPU, let's say you go all out with your graphics card, which 95% of the community does, go to on plus boost and select it. Most people will be selecting this one over here, okay? Not on plus boost. Why? Because they have a better graphics card than what they have a CPU. If you have a really good GPU and a really good CPU, I would leave this at on. Just don't turn it off. For the love of fuck, don't turn it off. All right. Then we're going to come over here. Eco mode preset at custom. VSync gameplay. The only reason why you would do this, ladies and gentlemen, and put it at 100%. Obviously, you don't want to cap your game like halfway, like 50%. That makes no fucking sense. I don't even know why this is here. Anyways, let's say you want to cap your gameplay, not the menus, the gameplay at the hertz and the refresh rate of your screen. Let's say it's 60 hertz, 120 hertz, all the way to 500 hertz screen. Go to 100 here. The only reason why you would select this is if you want to cap your FPS to the hertz of your screen or the refresh rate of your screen, or you're getting screen tearing like that over there. Okay? If your game still looks like this perfectly fine with this off, and your game doesn't feel like absolute dog shit, then leave it off and done. Alright? VSync menus off. Custom frame rate limit, I leave mine on unlimited, but this is something you can go ahead and do. Ladies and gentlemen, in the gameplay itself, where it says gameplay custom frame rate limit, let's say you reach, I don't know, I'm going to make a random ass number up right now. Let's say you reach 250 FPS in-game constantly. That's what you're reaching, right? I would recommend, if you're running 250 FPS constantly, drop it 30 FPS lower, okay? So that will be 220. Because you're doing 250, drop it to 220, all right? So 30 FPS lower so you can have a stable gameplay experience. That's what I recommend you go ahead and do. So just 30 less. So if you had, let's say, I don't know, 130 FPS max in the game, then drop it to 100 like this, and you'll have a smooth gameplay experience. Trust me on this. Okay, go ahead and do this. Then menu custom frame rate limit. 60 is the lowest you'll go here, and then obviously 300 is the max you can go here for menu custom frame rate limit. But what I would do is just leave it at 60 like this, and you should be fine. Autofocus custom frame rate mode is just in general, I would leave it at 30 and leave it like that, and you should be fine. Now I'm going to go to unlimited because this is how I play my game. All right, reduce menu render resolution native. Pause game rendering off. Reduce quality when inactive, max 10 minutes, and then focus mode at 0. Do not move this. Leave it at 0 and then apply your settings. My settings already been applied, so I can't even apply it, right? Then you're going to come to quality. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a big thing, and plays a very big role in your game itself as well, is the quality. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in the quality tab right now, and as you can see, I have this at custom. I highly recommend having your render resolution at the display's resolution, okay? So if you have a 720p screen, leave it at 720p. 1080p, leave it at 1080p. You get my point. Anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. You get my point. 100 always. Do not drop this down. If you drop this down, your game's going to start looking like that instead of like this. You don't want that happening in your game, all right? Dynamic resolution off. Here over here, where it says upscaling / sharpening, plays a very big role in the game, a very, very big role in the game. As much as Nvidia's reflex low latency plays a big role in the game, this plays a massive role in the game, right? Everyone has their own personal preference on what they use inside here. I use Fidelity FX Cache as a personal preference. I use Fidelity FX Cache. Why? The game looks really sharp, it looks really good, and it runs good on my machine, and my strength's at 85 right now. That's how I run my game at this very moment, and it's changed from 75 to 85, okay? But then there's a lot of people out there that's running lower end machines. I would recommend running AMD FSR 3 or AMD FSR 1. Go ahead and use that. I would choose 3 over 1 though, but there's a lot of people out there that's going to say I would choose 1 over 3. So I can't please everyone here. Choose one of these, okay? If you have a very low end machine, it doesn't matter if it's an Nvidia card. It does not matter. Just because it says AMD FSR doesn't mean you need to have an AMD graphics card, okay? I've tested every single setting inside here, which is Fidelity FX Cache. Now, for most people, I would recommend Fidelity FX Cache, and then also for people out there rocking Nvidia cards, Nvidia DLSS is a very good option. Then, Nvidia image scaling is a very good option for people with 20 series graphics cards from Nvidia, right? You're going to come inside here and have this over here at quality or at balance. You can try ultra quality depending on the 20 series that you have. If you have the best 20 series out there, you can go to ultra quality. You can also go to native, between highest 20 series and just a little bit lower than that. If you have a shitty 20 series graphics card, don't do that. Rather go to balance and you should be good to go. Right. Then this upscaling over here, you can go ahead and try this. Just do it at native. If you don't like it, go back to maybe using this or these or just in general Nvidia DLSS or Fidelity FX Cache. Now, Nvidia DLSS frame generation is a big thing in this game, and a lot of debate is going on around it, and it's just been a thing all over the internet and just overall, like in the games, like works and stuff like that. Nvidia DLSS frame generation is AI created frames, so if you do 150 max in this game, you'll do 300 by putting this on. Why? It doubles the FPS. But just because it's doubling the FPS doesn't mean you are actually achieving 300. You aren't achieving 300. You're still doing the 150 you were doing. Why? Because it's creating AI frames for you. So it's an actual frame, a fake frame, an actual frame, a fake frame. But ladies and gentlemen, AI is becoming so advanced right now at this very moment that some of these are actually good to turn on. I know people that's running this game with Nvidia DLSS frame generation on, and they run the game perfectly fine with no like issues whatsoever. So if you have yours on and your game runs perfectly fine, leave it the fuck on. If you have an AMD card and you want to use AMD's version, turn it on. If your game doesn't run like dog shit, if you get no stuttering and your game feels perfectly fine. But if your game starts feeling like absolute dog shit, it's mostly because of this. Why it's actually meant for single player games, not multiplayer games. Right, VRAM scale target at 80%. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get rid of the stutter and you want to get rid of the packet burst, it doesn't matter what computer you are on and what specs you are on your computer, go to 60 or max 65 over here and leave it like this. You'll then receive less packet burst or not at all, and your game will run smoother. Run it like this and you should be fine. I don't get packet bursts or packet issues in general in my game, so I just leave it at 80 like this and my game runs perfectly fine. Then we have this over here, the variable rate shading. I just have mine off with my rig. You can try this by turning it on with your rig. If you have a smoother experience, leave it on, but I recommend turning it off. Right, this over here, the detail and textures. Right at this very moment, can you see mine's all over the place? So I have my texture resolution at high. You do not need it to be at high. You can have it at normal. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see further down the line, let's say you scoping through your scope and you can't see the building correctly or you can't see the person correctly, I would highly recommend running this at either high or normal. Don't go to low, don't go to very low. Very low, you're going to tear out your own eyes or pick up a cat to scratch out your eyes for you. Don't fucking do that, all right? Just either normal or high and you should be fine. If you got a very low-end computer, go to low. You should also be fine. The game will still basically look like this and not like that. Just go to low, normal, or high, not very low, all right? Then texture filter anisotropic ultra for all computers out there. Doesn't matter if you're running low end, medium end to high end. Doesn't matter. Depth of field off, always off. Leave it the fuck off and done. Who plays with this in their right mind in a multiplayer game? Detail quality. I highly recommend, ladies and gentlemen, leaving this at high or normal. Do not put this at low. Don't put it at low right now because with the Season 5 reloaded versions, you want to be able to see better. There are bugs in the game that if you put things too low, your game starts looking all blob-like and things look like dog shit. You don't want that, right? This one over here at normal, the particle resolution, just leave it at normal. You should be fine. I normally tell people to put this at very, very low because you don't need to see this. But right now, at normal. Bullet impacts on, then the effects off. Shader quality, you can go from high to medium between these two right now because of Season 5 Reloaded. This at minimal and leave it there, all right? Your local texture streaming quality at normal and done. Then the shadow and lighting plays a very big role in this game. The only thing I would put high here, or at least at normal like this, is the shadow quality itself. The rest of them, low, off, and then low, like this. Please leave these settings alone, okay? It's going to hog your FPS, make your game run like absolute dog shit. You don't want that. Leave all four of these like this and you should be good to go. Scroll down and come to the environment. You're going to have your tessellation at all, volumetric quality at low, your physics quality off, your weather grid volumes at off, and your water quality at off, and you should be perfectly good to go when it comes to the quality tab right here. Then, ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead and apply these settings like this. Then from here, you're going to come to the view tab, and the view tab is your own personal preference, but these two right here, turn them the fuck off, turn them the fuck off, I repeat, turn them the fuck off, and done. Who plays with these two things? Who the fuck? Honestly, if you're a COD enthusiast and you play this game all the time, you would not have this on. Trust me, you won't. All right? Inverted flash is something you can go ahead and take advantage of by turning it on. Then your screen won't go completely white when you get flashbanged or stunned or whatever the case might be. It will look like this instead of like that. I do that because I have a quite big screen. I have a 55-inch screen. So, yeah. At night, literally looks like an actual flashbang came through my screen, landed on my table, and I'm blind. So I put this on, okay? That's the only reason why I have it on. Then you're going to come to this over here where it says interface, and you're going to be inside here. You are then going to have all of these exactly the same like mine. Please go ahead and do that. So skip introduction movie, all the same like mine, and then come here, and then come to color customization. Now you're going to have this over here. You're going to have your team, make sure whatever you click your team on, let's just make my team orange, right? Make your party the exact same fucking color. Please go ahead and do that. I'm just going to put that back at my colors that I like because I like specific colors when it comes to this game. All right, everyone does. Then you have enemy. You can physically change the color of the enemy, right? I make mine pink, magenta pinkish color. This is how I like to play my game because nothing in this game is really magenta pink unless it's a skin or unless it's a fucking, I don't know, like a gun skin, you know? Grass and the environment is not going to be fucking pink. So that's why I leave it like this. Then you're going to come down all the way to the bottom. Color filter at 2. It's the best filter in general for Call of Duty. Then color filter target at both 100%, 100%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the most important step you're going to need to do is this right here. All right, so this is the most important step you're going to need to take for these settings to apply to your computer right now as we're speaking. You are going to come to display tab, click on restart shader preloading. You're going to click on restart. Once you clicked on the restart button, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to press escape, and just keep going until you see it says this whatever the hell, and just quit out of the game completely. Now, before you leave out of my video, ladies and gentlemen, before you just fuck out of my video, you're going to quit to your desktop. I highly recommend restarting your computer, come back to my YouTube channel. After you tested this game, and the game runs perfectly fine, you launch it through Battle.net or Steam or Xbox Game Pass, and your game feels better, come back to my YouTube video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, just here to help the Call of Duty community as best I can with the latest season reloaded version, and as always, peace out.